Welcome back, Automotive Inc. here. Today we are talking about 6 hidden features in the Subaru. Now this is a Subaru Forester of 2024, but this is going to be in a lot of different models, no matter if you have the 12-inch or the smaller 8-inch screen. So you can always get in and play. Now these features aren't necessarily something that everybody needs to know about, but I think I'd like to know about them, and if your salesperson didn't have an opportunity to show you, I'm going to show you today. Before we get started, guys, make sure you look down there in the corner and smash the subscribe button for me. Helps the small channel out. At the end of the video, give me a thumbs up and notification will when you know I'm posting new content. Now you can go over to the channel, go into the search bar, type in Subaru and see all the cool stuff, because I put some accessories on here and I have those installed videos, so if you were wondering what that is, just go type it in Subaru and you'll probably find it. Now on most models now it is a standard feature, but not necessarily on the base like Impreza, but a lot of models do now have them, and that is called steering responsive headlamps. And what it is, guys, is it's an actual headlamp that moves with your steering input. Now this is a really great feature. It helps so much, especially if you're on some windy roads, mountains and everything, because the headlights do move in the direction your steering wheel does, so you can improve your visibility all across the board. Now, again, it's hard to tell if you have them, but more than likely if you check your window sticker, you will have them. And all you have to really do is about 10 miles an hour, just kind of turn slowly through a cul-de-sac and you'll see if you have them. Very nice feature to have, and it is a game changer. Some of the vehicles you can change it off, not for sure why you'd want to, but the opportunity to do that is out there. Now before we get going too far on the inside, I want to show you something that's basically with your power lift gate. Now if you have this button here on your Subaru, you have the power lift gate, which means it assists it closing and shutting. Now if you didn't know, you can push this lock button. Say you get your stuff out of the back and you don't want to touch the passive entry on the side of the door, you can push this, it'll shut the gate and lock it. But that's not the feature we're talking about. We're going to talk about the memory height setting. So if you go into your Subaru and you have this button right here, this you'll need to depress. So this is off, it's out, you push it again, it's in. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the lift gate. Now a lot of manufacturers have this, so if you have a power lift gate, you're more than welcome to try it, but there may be an interface setting you have to do within the screen, touch screen, or a hard button like that inside the vehicle. So my mom's Pathfinder has that, my Pathfinder had that, so you can always try that on various different manufacturers. But on Subaru, this feature comes in handy when you are in, say, a parking garage, low ceilings, and you don't want to smash the top of your door on that, or if you're a shorter person, this will help for reaching those exact buttons. So once that switch is turned on, guys, you can come back to your gate, adjust it to whatever height you want, especially if you have like I said, a garage, and you need to make sure you get to that point. Now remember, by lowering it, this will obviously watch your face and your head, but once you get to that setting, you're going to push and hold this. Now you're going to hear that beep, that input. Now that memory settings, this is where the door is going to stop. So if we go ahead and shut the door. Now give it a second. We're going to open the door and you'll see that it's now adjusted to that new height. The great thing about it is you want to change that height again, just move the door to wherever you want. You'll hear it beep saying that's acknowledging you're changing that position. Me, I'm tall, I have a tall garage. I'm gonna push and hold this again. And there is the new memory setting. So just a cool feature they may not have told you about. You might have seen the button, not knowing what the heck it was about, but that's how to change your memory setting. Now another feature I want to talk to you guys about is spare tires. Now the spare tire is located under this mat. I did buy this mat aftermarket. I have a video on it if you want to search that up in the channel, but your spare tire is underneath here. So we slide out that cover, we slide off the carpet cover, and right here you can see that you have your jack crank. They probably won't tell you that. Now keep in mind, guys, some of the new Subarus no longer have a spare tire. Now the Forester does have a donut, is what we used to call them in the old days, or a temporary spare tire. And this tire has a limitation on speed and everything like that, but this is where you're going to find your toolkit for jacking. Okay, now a lot of times the car should have if it's new, but if you're buying a new Subaru and this is an important feature, make sure you check it when you're talking to your dealer rep. Now inside the kit, some explanations. This right here is the tow bolt, and this is going to go in a couple different areas. They give you the jack, and you can see the jack has this little notch in it, and I'm going to show you the other thing they probably won't tell you here in a second, but it's going to help prevent damage. You have your lug nut wrench, and then you have a screwdriver that has a flat blade also on it, so you can pry off the area that you're going to need to access this. And this is the area right here, guys. There's a cover like this on the front, which I'll show you in a second. This is the rear. You're going to use that flat blade screwdriver, find the little indent right there. Now if somebody's flipped it over, then it might be at the top, but this cover should only probably fit one way. Don't try prying right here, you will mar the surfaces. So pry right here, pop that off, and there's a hole that you're going to thread your little tow eye bolt. So if the vehicle has to be pulled out of a ditch or something, don't let somebody just hook it to anything. It'll help you prevent damage. These areas are made to screw this bolt into. Hook your little tow hook here, your tow rope to it, and then you can safely pull your vehicle out with less damage to it than may already been from being in whatever predicament you're in. Okay, and as I promised you guys before, this is the front cover for doing that. So you can see the little indent here that you can use a screwdriver, again, that's included, or you can do whatever. Remember, don't lose these covers when you do take them off. Obviously this one's paint match, so make sure. But if you're wondering what the heck that is your tow location. Don't let the tow truck driver just find a random place. Most of them are really good and will be very careful. And if they don't have the eye bolt, sometimes they even have one with them. Now the last little quirk about this spare tire changing issue is you need to know the proper location of where to jack the actual Subaru at. Now most vehicles that have that same kind of jack, that little notch in it, that notch, there's a specific place to lift on the car. All right, so as you can see right here, guys, there's this cutout area right here. That is your jack point, okay? It's gonna be identical on the other front side. And when you look back here at the back, you can see that there's another cutout right there. That's where you need to jack with that specific jack. And if you're using just a regular floor jack, then be real careful on using those lift points. All right, now that we're inside the cabin of the Subaru Forester, again, very similar for almost all the models and regardless of which screen size you have, 12-inch or 8-inch. Now, as we come over here, a couple strong points on the infotainment system itself. Now, this system right here is basically not as sophisticated as your phone, but this is your home screen right here, and then these are auxiliary screens that you can do. Now, if you want to move a icon around that you use all the time, you click and you hold it. It'll turn small. You can move it wherever you'd want. So they may not have told you that, but you can move icons around, especially ones that you use a lot. All right. Now that we come over here, now I have heard some people, so Subaru uses EyeSight. EyeSight is their adaptive cruise control and everything like that, but sometimes people don't want that. They just want to drive their own car, because adaptive cruise control will use the braking system and speed up and slow down based on those little lines right there. That's your distance that you have. But when you come into here and you turn this on, you can see that it's going to light up right there. It's going to bring the cruise control icon on there. That's the little vehicle above the speedo and the arrow. It's also going to bring it up right there. But say the event that you're the kind of driver that just wants to do your own input, you can come over here, up or down, doesn't matter. Let's just put up. We're going to push and hold this button. Now you can see right there that the cruise control icon has now changed, meaning adaptive cruise control is off of that part of the safety control system. Now, if you turn the cruise control on and off again with the button, it does revert back to it. But again, you can do this while you're driving, so you can turn the adaptive cruise control off, and it will reset every single time that you cycle the key or the ignition on or off. So just keep that in mind. Again, this EyeSight system is pretty much standard on every Subaru vehicle. So if you have these settings right here, that's the way you turn off your adaptive cruise control if you don't want it. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about our submenus. So this little LCD screen here, we have these little toggle buttons and what's called the iSet or information reset. You can use the up and down arrow to cruise through your basic functions and readouts. Now, when you get to this screen, you're going to pull and hold that I button. Now you can go through and change individual settings. So now if you want to turn off rear seat reminder, you don't ever have anybody back there, but you do open the door, then it's going to sense that you need to check the car. If you want to go into any of these subscreens, you get to it on the menu and pull up. And then you can see right there, you have an option to go back, on, or off. And that's how you're going to do it. Now, again, to accept whatever setting, if we wanted to select off on that, you're going to come back to this button and pull up, and then that's how you do it. Now, to get back, you just scroll to go back. You're going to pull up on that menu, and then it'll take you back to these. Now, you do have to scroll all the way down to screen 8 to go back, and again, pull this, and then it takes you back. Now, the other sub menu that we have up here, very similar type setup, but you're going to use this button right here to change that information. And then kind of the way Subaru does it is when you get to the information setup screen, we'll get to it, has lots of different screens. So when you get to that one, then you're going to push and hold the info button. It says on the screen. You can push and hold it. All right, come on now. We're going to get there. All right, after it opens up, guys, you have all of these extra little screens that you can go into. Now, you're going to reuse your up and down and your accept button, again, just like we did. So instead of bouncing back and forth, you can see right here, if we scroll down, we can change date, beep, time, climate, control, maintenance. And then you can see right there on the left side where it says select iSet. So as long as you're good not looking down at your buttons, then you can kind of see it. So you can go in here and you can see what options that you do have to change. So if we go into maintenance and hit I or set, you can see where you can do your tires, oil filter, oil change reminders, schedule maintenance, clear all settings. Again, you do have to hit the go back. And if you're going to change one of those settings, you do have to hit the I set button, which is pulling up on the button. So you can go in and change your climate control, and everything like that. And then once you get to the setting that you want, again, you can just go in there and you can do your bypass screens, scroll through there, and again, to get out of there, hit go back. And you can, like I said, you can change a lot of settings on here depending on what you want to see. And it's just a really cool feature that the more you play with it, you can't screw it up. It's going to save it just generally to the vehicle itself. So, it's not as sophisticated as to remembering, if it's a memory profile setting, it's going to keep it to you specifically. And you can swap out these 3 individual gauges too by going into the settings and changing those favorite screens. You can change it to your instantaneous economy. You can put up 3 temp gauges, whatever you really want. You really just got to play with it. So I thought this was kind of a fun video to make. My wife said I should probably make it on the Subaru just because a lot of times people don't think the Subaru has all of these cool little features or settings or whatever. So it's just kind of a way to go through that and give you guys an idea. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video today. Again, we'll catch you on the next one.